It seems like every day now we have a billionaire come out of the woodworks to shit on working people and their own workers in many instances. So this is in the New York Post. Home Depot co-founder says, quote, "Socialism killed motivation to work. Nobody gives a damn." Okay, we'll get to the specific comments in a second, but like, how somebody can say the motivation to work is gone at a time when the unemployment rate is what, less than 4%? So you got, even if you take the U6 unemployment rate, which I think is a more fair unemployment rate, you have over 90% of the country that is working. He's like, ah, fucking lazy bastards over here. You're so lazy. No, those people are working way, way harder than you. Okay, let's get into the specifics. The 93-year-old billionaire co-founder of Home Depot blamed socialism for Americans lacking the motivation to work and warned that the future of capitalism is in danger. I'd love to see what are the socialist policies that have just been implemented? I'd love to know. I'd love to know. By the way, I think it would be based if we added a little more socialism into the system. Universal health care, universal education, universal child care. Some of the most popular programs in this country are those big government programs, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. But we haven't added any new socialist programs. And he's like, fucking socialism's making everybody not want to work, bro. Bernie Marcus, who, along with Arthur Blank, built Home Depot into a nationwide empire from just 2 stores founded in Atlanta in the late 1970s, told Financial Times on Thursday, "Nobody works. Just give it to me." This is his quote. Quote, "Just give it to me. Send me money. I don't want to work. I'm too lazy. I'm too fat. I'm too stupid." Marcus said about what he perceived as the attitude permeating the country. Nobody gives a damn. Wow. Wow. So he's basically calling his own workers and working people throughout this country too lazy, too fat, too stupid. This is the exact mindset that we need to eradicate. Because working people are struggling. 63% of this country is working paycheck to paycheck. More than half this country can't afford a $1,000 emergency. People are busting their ass and either not getting by or barely getting by. And here's this guy, a billionaire, sitting on his ass cheeks all day and lecturing other people because they're not working hard enough. Even if this guy was, let's say, 50 years old again, he wouldn't last a week in the position of one of his workers. Because you work the entire week, you're worn the fuck out, and you don't make enough money for any sort of a decent life. So it's amazing because as he's basically arguing, these workers are so entitled. He's the fucking entitled one. He is. It's like the old saying, boss makes $1, I make a dime. And there he is making his dollar, shitting on all the people doing the actual work. You'd be nothing without them. They helped build this company. Their hard work maintains the company. And you view them as just like lazy, fat, stupid, and disposable. So it's kind of an admission here. The workers are just property, right? Like, shut the fuck up. Don't have any opinions. Don't have any beliefs. Do what you're told, and that's it. It's dehumanizing. And you wonder, look, people feel alienated from their work. Gee, I wonder why. The longtime Republican backer, shocker, he's backing Republicans, ticked down a list of people he blamed for standing in the way of private enterprise, including President Biden. Yes, Biden is against private enterprise. That's why he signed an executive order the other day, making sure that the workers own the means of production. That's what Biden did. The idea that Joe Biden is anything but a neoliberal corporatist is like Nat IQ shit. He also blamed the woke people. I'd love for these assholes to just define it. What does that mean to you? Define woke for me. I'd love to hear the twist themselves into an intellectual pretzel to try to, take what they heard on Fox News and turn it into some sort of a definition. They wouldn't be able to do it. The news media, Harvard graduates, MBAs, lawyers, and accountants. I'm worried about capitalism, said Marcus, whose net worth is estimated by Bloomberg at $5.25 billion. Capitalism is the basis of Home Depot, and millions of people have earned the success and had success. I thought you just said they're too lazy, too fat, and too stupid. I thought you just said nobody wants to fucking work. 5.25 billion. Sits on his ass all day, this guy. I'm talking manufacturers, vendors, and distributors and people that work for us who have been able to enrich themselves by the journey of Home Depot, he added. That's the success. That's why capitalism works. No, okay, if you take capitalism in its purest form and build Home Depot up with that, what do we have? We have child labor. We have no minimum wage. We have people living in tenement houses, and we have robber barons, of which, by the way, you are one of them. So laissez-faire capitalism with no guardrails, no rules, no regulations in its purest form absolutely obliterates 99% of the population. Keeps them poor, desperate, hungry. It's effectively wage slavery. And this guy takes anything good that happens, he says, oh, that's capitalism. And then anything bad is, oh, that's the fault of socialism. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, you can compare countries that are more socialistic in their outlook and how the workers are treated there versus a country that's more capitalist. Again, the purest form, laissez-faire, unfettered capitalism, that was when we had the Industrial Revolution and the robber baron era. A more socialistic economy is what goes on in Scandinavia, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, Finland, Sweden. And in those countries, workers do way better. He said, that's the success. That's why capitalism works. He called Biden the worst president in the history of this country. Really? How many presidents own slaves? How many presidents own slaves? Is Biden worse than them? Is Biden worse than the presidents whose direct policy decisions led to the Great Depression? Is Biden worse than those presidents? Like Herbert Hoover, for example? Is Biden worse than George W. Bush, who did multiple illegal wars, implemented torture, illegal NSA spying, and crashed the global economy with the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession? Is Biden worse than him? Look, this guy's an idiot. And this is part of the problem, is that if somebody's a billionaire, they really think like, I did this all on my own, and I'm special, and I'm unique, and I'm a genius. And it's like, actually, no, douchebag. You could be a billionaire and a colossal idiot. We don't live in a meritocracy. In many ways, we live in an anti-meritocracy. It's not, oh, the harder you work, the further you go. That's not true at all. So here's this lazy asshole spouting his opinions as if they're fact, and there's no way he could back this up. I would love to sit one-on-one with this guy and go back and forth with him. I would love to. So Biden is the worst president in the history of this country and made no apologies for backing Republicans, including Trump and DeSantis, the Florida governor who's being touted as a leading contender for the GOP presidential nomination in 2024. I give money to them because I hope they're going to do the right thing, Marcus said of his contributions to Republicans. He praised Trump for his policies, which he said were spot on. Though he added, it's going to be very interesting in 24 because I think DeSantis will challenge him and may the better man win. Okay. Now, by the way, they go on to talk about, I know this guy's done the Billionaire pledge or whatever it's called, where he's like, I'm going to give 50% of my money to charity. I've never seen a better example of how, first of all, that is largely a PR stunt. Second of all, guys, charity and the way it works in this country is largely a massive scam. So let me explain to you how this works. And I've seen this even with, like, I love Tiger Woods, for example. Even with him, he created this Tiger Woods Foundation, right? And it's like, oh, we teach kids and we have these institutes and we do it and it's all great. And all of a sudden, when you see somebody become phenomenally wealthy, they usually set up like a charity or a foundation or whatever the fuck. Why do you think they're doing that? Is it just, they're just a good person, bro, and they're just trying to give back, bro, and that's the whole point? No, it's a tax avoidance scheme. It's a tax avoidance scheme. And honestly, there are some great organizations that look at the specifics of where the money goes to a lot of the most well-known charities, and you would be astonished at how many charities give maybe 40% of the money they take to the actual cause they say it's for. So this whole charity thing is a massive scam. That's not to say there aren't some good charities that do some decent work. Of course there are. But what you need to do is make the solutions systemic. You can't rely on the goodwill of assholes like this, who clearly doesn't give a fuck about anybody but himself. Like, oh yeah, this guy will save the day. No. It needs to be mandatory. It needs to be part of the system. We need systemic change where we take the basics, the necessities off the table for people. We have the ability to do that. We are just choosing not to do it because we live in a capitalist, corporatist, corrupt hellscape. All right, so we don't need to go through any more of this. I just want to give you guys a couple more facts so you understand how out to lunch this total idiot is. Lazy, fat, stupid people don't want to work anymore. They should have work ethic like me. When I sit on my ass all day and make $1 as my workers make a dime. The world's 26 richest people own as much as poorest 50%, says Oxfam. Now, this was back in 2020. I think it's gotten worse since then. But let's just go with this number. Let's go with a conservative number. World's richest 26 people own as much wealth as the poorest 50% of the world. They just worked harder, bro. They just busted their ass. They just worked that much harder. That's why 26 people have more wealth than what? 3.5 billion people? It's that 3.5 billion, you're going to be surprised to learn this. That 3.5 billion, fat, lazy, stupid, dumb, no work ethic. That's the problem. Imagine being such a fucking idiot. You believe that? This guy does. This guy does. Work harder. Bust your ass. You'll get there. The top 1% of Americans have taken 50 trillion from the bottom 90%, and that's made the U.S. less secure. The number is more now, because this is from, I believe this one's from 2018 or 2019, this article. And just so you know, this isn't some made-up bullshit. This is a gigantic study from the Rand Corporation, and they get into the specifics of how they calculated it and all that. Top 1%, taken 50 trillion from the bottom 90%. They go on in this article to explain that if we kept the pay disparity the same in this country from what it was in like the post-World War II era, then the bottom 90%, every person in the bottom 90% would get an extra, I think it's about $1,100 a month every month for their entire life. So we've done a reverse Robin Hood, where the wealthy are stealing from the poor and the working class. We've done a reverse Robin Hood. CEO pay has skyrocketed 1,322% since 1978. CEOs were paid 351 times as much as a typical worker in 2020. Just to put this in perspective for you, it was not that long ago. I think it was the 1970s or 1980s when the pay disparity between the CEO and the average worker was about 10 to 1. I think the exact number was 11 to 1. That's not that long ago. You know, I was born in 1988. It's in my lifetime that we had a pay disparity that was more like that. So we went from 11 to 1 CEO pay to average worker pay. And then over the years, because of policy, this is like an active decision that's made by the people who run this country. Now you get 351 to 1 is the pay disparity. All the people, the average worker, they're just lazy, bro. They're just fat, lazy, and stupid. That's what it is. They're just stupid. They should try being not stupid, and then maybe they'd just be a billionaire and stuff, you know? They should try work harder. Just put an extra couple hours at your shit job, and then maybe you'll be a billionaire in a couple years. These assholes like this billionaire who's bitching, this motherfucker thinks he's God's gift to Earth when he's nothing but a leech and a parasite. That's what he is. Just taking the surplus value of his workers. That's what it is. And he has no respect for them. Doesn't understand that they make the company work. Calls them lazy. Fat, stupid. Idiots. They're dumb. I should stop talking because I'm going to go further and it's going to get me in trouble. But there's the story. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.